strong.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Funny Minds. I'm your host, Lynn B., and I'm here with my co-host,
Edward Biss.
And today I am so excited. I am really very, very excited to have an incredible comedian, an off-the-cuff, crazy man, Ian BAGG. And he's going to run away.
I thought you were introducing somebody else.
I probably was, but you're here, so we'll take you.
All right. You'll have to put up with me.
Oh, my God.
Hell
really?
yeah.
How are you?
Ian, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for tolerating my mom stalking you.
Yeah.
That's nice. She's very sweet. She's like, Ian, come on the podcast. I'm like, yeah, let's try it. And I'm like, okay, we got to do this. and then she goes, okay. I go noon. She goes, okay. And then she goes noon East Coast time. I'm like, what? So,
you mean I have to get up? I have to face this
I gotta
woman
get up.
first thing in the morning? Oh, my God. Well, look, I'll brighten your day. There you go.
This is fantastic. I'm sure my headphones are going to die halfway through this, so I'll have to end up talking not on my headphones. But hopefully everybody can hear me, and thank you for having me to your wonderful show, Mom and Son Comedy.
Yes, absolutely. We're a combo.
Yes.
Yeah, the apples
Hey,
in
you guys go on stage
the
together?
tree.
Purple hair and no purple hair.
Love it. It's fantastic. And where do you guys live?
I'm in Jersey.
Ooh, fancy.
She's in Jersey. I'm in sunny Florida, Tampa.
Oh, man. You guys couldn't be more East Coast mom and son if we tried.
I know, right? I go down every once in a while, but right now we're freezing. You guys are nice and warm. And
I sent my son down there to live, but I can't give up my house. I've always loved my house. That's what's going on. It's mine. So I go see. No, this is you guys talking. I go down and see my son every so often, but I can't give my house up. It's mine.
Actually, she did give it up.
Actually, I did sell it. Yes.
What are you living in an apartment now, or what are you doing?
In a condo.
A TV.
Ooh.
Yeah, in a TV.
In a
TV.
She lives in a box. She lives in a box.
With the Wanaki Indians.
They'll take your money. Mm-hmm.
And then some.
Yes, they will. Yes,
they've taken a couple losses, but they are fighting back very well.
So I saw it when he was performing in New York, and after the show, he's outside, so he takes pictures, and I have a picture with you, and I said to everybody, "Oh my God, I wonder, because I know you can't come from Canada. I wonder if he played hockey. This guy is enormous. You are such a huge man. You're so tall. I felt like this little dwarf.
Yeah, you are a dwarf. That's the thing.
Well, I am. Yeah.
I love it when a little person says, "You're so big." No, I'm just normal.
Yeah.
But, I didn't realize that you do a podcast with your friend Jeff. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I did play hockey growing up, but I wasn't talented. He was very talented, and he went to the NHL, and I became a comedian. So that's how it works out. Now, actually, we both grew up in the middle of nowhere up near Alaska, and he lives in Vegas with his family, and I live here. And it's pretty crazy that our lives started out together and have kind of come back together. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. And I love the name, the what is it? Something eating oranges or something about oranges.
Enjoying orange slices.
Enjoying orange slices.
When you're a kid and you're playing sports, that's what they give you, orange slices. That's what Gatorade replaced.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty much natural fruit. It can replace natural fruit.
That's how we live as a society. You know what? We need more chemicals.
Lot more. my son.
I used to wrestle when I was a kid, and they would stick us in a boiler room with plastic bags on. Now we're a child, like 11 years old.
Yeah. You got to drop some weight by
bags
11.
On, sweatshirts, doing jumping jacks, peeing in a bottle, spitting, and then you do a tournament.
Doing whatever you had to do.
An orange slice.
Yeah.
I know that.
Question for you: when they had you pee in the bottle, were they checking to make sure you weren't dehydrated, or what were they doing? Why
they were making sure it wasn't the Whizzinator.
Oh, is that what they were doing?
Yeah, we had 11 on roids.
You wouldn't want to have anybody HGH.
We had 11-year-olds.
Well, they came from football where they had to bulk up.
Right. I have a feeling he just looked back and realized he was molested. Man,
pretty much. Yeah.
That too.
Why was I peeing? Why is I peeing in front of my coach?
You sound like why am I naked all the time?
Love it.
Hey, listen, I wore a special shirt for you, man, today.
What are you wearing? Oh,
I am wearing a Halifax Highlander.
Nice.
Official Dougie Glatt jersey.
Where'd you get that?
eBay. Hello.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Where does everybody get anything?
Right. But he's in Florida, so it's probably his neighbor. All hockey players retire down there. So, we'll just go over and borrow Dougie's jersey for the big show.
Doug the Thug. I tried to explain the movie to her. And that's when I was like, no, Ian's definitely into hockey. And if he's into hockey, he has seen the movie Goon and probably laughed his
Goon
ass
is
off.
fantastic.
Probably knows all those guys. Jay and all those guys.
Yeah, Goon. It was a very funny movie. I trumped them, though. I was in one called MVP2, which is about a chimpanzee that plays hockey. So, I can take it up a notch. Sure, you're...
A chimpanzee that plays hockey. Well, you sure you didn't dress up like the chimpanzee? I mean, come on.
Or they just film me when I played hockey.
Fantastic. Yeah. I love it. If you're your mom's kid, you're not much taller than a chimpanzee. So
no, he is tall. No, the boys got to be tall. The girls are small.
It could have been reverse, Good thing everything worked out. Just giant girls and tiny little boys.
That would have been the whole thing.
I'd like to take you on a date.
As we look down on you.
My daughter, Sarah.
What's your name? Like Susan? But hey, do you have a family, kids?
I have a wife, and we have dogs.
Kids.
No kids. We don't have kids. My wife just finished.
Furry kids.
We have dogs. My wife just finished. She just did her white coat for occupational therapy. She's going to have a doctorate in occupational therapy. Very proud of her. She just
very cool.
She's
That's
out.
Great.
She's actually just started back up. It's the new year. She's back in working in a clinic right now, doing her. I call it an internship, but it's called something else. And then she writes a big paper and off into the world.
Dissertation.
Things don't work.
Dissertation.
Yeah.
And dumps me and moves into a better house. So it's fantastic.
Makes more money.
Yeah. I'm that Lifetime movie you see, the scorned lover after putting her through medical school.
That's when you start wiping down some more scotch.
Then I just pretend I'm special needs, so she has to see me still.
And take care of you at times.
Yeah.
I need therapy with my occupation. It sucks.
It's funny.
Dogs are great.
Dogs are fantastic. We've got Minnie, Pearl, and Lou. We used to have Dr. Henry Wong came into our lives for about 4 years, and my wife found him on the beach in front of our house, and he was basically dead when we found him. He was an old guy, and somebody had dumped him, right? And we took him in, and he went from living on the streets to telling us what time he needed to eat and what time he needed to go to bed, and to picking out pieces of food that he didn't like and putting them on the floor and asking for more hamburger, sir.
He's like, I really am done with the beets, Father. No more beets.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was like, you were eating paper towel last week, so I don't know how this turned out.
Not even paper, but the roll. You were eating the roll of the paper towel.
Yeah.
Right. But they become your children anyhow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, if they get sick, you take them right to the doctor, everything. Yeah, you look out for them.
Hell yeah.
What do you have?
Vets are so high.
King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, you got a King Charles.
Little tricolor Cavalier. Yeah. She's Duchess, my little princess.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how attached you become to them. They're just like,
oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
It gets bad. It gets to the point where if I think about someday when I'm going to have to put her down, I'll sit there and go into a depression. Like a literal 2-day depression. I can't even think about it.
Well, Dr. Henry, I didn't even want to keep him. Right. I'm just like, find somebody. I've got 2 dogs. I don't need to be walking 3 dogs. Sure enough, I was walking 3 dogs. But when he passed away, I was devastated. Like he died in my arms, and I was crushed. Like I just took him in. I just thought he was not feeling well. Took him in there. Like, oh, he's in distress. You got to take him to this other place. So and they're like, it's a half an hour away from here. He might not make it. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, you know what I mean? And he died in my arms in the car. And I was just like, what the? And then I was just, my wife wasn't home. She's the one that found him. She did fine with it. She's like, oh, we miss him and stuff like that. But I was just like blubbering like a baby for a week. I just started for no apparent reason.
I know how you feel. I had a golden for 17 years. And, I couldn't do it until one day I realized, she's in pain. I can't do this to her anymore. Yeah. But I couldn't do it. My daughter, but the same thing for a month. All I did was come home and cry. Or at work, I'd be in the office. and someone would come in and all of a sudden I'd think of it and I'd start bawling, like it really, they are just
the funny
so
thing,
much a part of
she
you.
would put me down, no problem.
Yeah, no worries. She'd walk.
Put you down for her.
But at least we got 50 good years out of him. He got 50 good years out of him. The dog,
he's fine.
Story, man.
He's fine. He had a good time. He took care of my place.
Absolutely.
And you gave him a good life for what was left of it.
I love this.
I did an amateur contest some years back, stand up for the first time. Never did it before. And I had, because I was a full-time musician. I was doing an album. Album was done. I had downtime. I get antsy, ADHD, crazy. So I'm like, screw it. Let me just do some comedy. Like, you just walk out and just do that. That's what I learned the hard way, that you just don't. But the night before I did it, I had to put my Rottweiler down.
Oh, my God.
The night before, my wife and I had a Rottweiler, only 4 years old. Had to put her down the day before. So I didn't stand a chance.
You're backed up. Oh, my goodness. You know what I love about comedians, and I'm not talking about me because I'm fantastic, but what about comedians is the comedians you see are so good. They make it look like anybody can do it. And that's, I mean, even the worst ones make people think I could do that. No, most 99% can't do it. And the funniest thing is, comedians aren't the funniest people in the world. Like, I know way more funny people than me. The difference is, I've figured out how to be funny when they tell me to be funny. My friends just can't be funny. Like, when they, it's there. Absolutely. I love going back to my hometown and just laughing the whole time I'm there because I grew up around some of the funniest people in the world.
But you're just so quick. You come out there and you just don't stop.
I'm in occupational therapy.
Just nonstop, and you're just, no matter what goes on. You just know
He's
what
got
to
ADHD
say
too. It's coming out. It's coming out no matter what. No, honestly, Ian, what I could say in regards to comedy, and I've grown since then, but when you watch people do crowd work, which is, for you make that look really easy. And that's the hardest part of comedy. A lot of people come out, they have their stuff written, they rehearse the shit out of it. They're note for note, like anything else. But when you come out there raw dog and you start messing with the crowd to the level that you're able to do it at, obviously that takes time and it takes honing. It takes a lot of confidence, but it also takes quickness. And how long did it take you to start feeling comfortable tearing up a room?
It's something that basically happened on my first night, but it's I don't call it crowd work. I just call it being in the moment, right? So some comics, they want to do their or her stuff, and I want to be there for the ride, and I want to know as much about you guys as you know about me. And sometimes we know more about the crowd than we do about me at the end of my show, right? Like, like they know all sorts of things about the crowd, and they're like, we don't even know who the comedian was. We don't even know his name. We're just all we know is the people in the audience, and I don't have a problem with that at all. But it's funny's funny. It doesn't like you can't it's basically when people say, oh, crowd work isn't this and that this isn't that. I'm just like, well, there's a lot of different brands of cars, and but they're all cars, right? So don't just because you don't like a Mustang doesn't mean it's not a car. Right. So it is what it is. Right. So and then with me, I always wanted to do stand up. I've always been I've had comedy autism my whole life where I've been able to make people laugh. No problem. And I was just like, oh, I want to do this. And when I started out, there was no internet. There was no comedy club in every town. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. There was nobody in our town that had ever, moved on to go into show business, let alone comedy. So I had to figure it out. And it took me a while to figure out how to even get onto a stage. Right. So, but just kind of happened. And I've always just enjoyed having the conversation rather than the speech of stand up. So that's kind of what it is.
Well, you've done a wonderful job at it.
How did the Last Comic Standing thing come about? Like, where was the first step that you finally got that opportunity?
Well, so I started in Vancouver. A couple of my friends were doing very well. I went on trips with them. This is how I do it. So my friends, I had no car, but my friends had cars or they borrow cars. They were driving to do gigs around the province of British Columbia. And I didn't have any material, and I wasn't like a comedian, but I'd say, hey, if I drive your car, can I do 5 minutes on your show? And they'd be like, yeah, if I can just sit in the passenger seat. Sure, sometimes they'd say no, but I would just be their driver and I'd get on stage with them and figure out how to get on stage. At that point in my life, it was just quantity. It was how much stage time I could get, right? So I just do it all, anything and everything. I remember doing a baby shower, like a wedding, like anywhere like that you could do it. And when you do it in places that aren't expecting stand-up, you have to have a conversation with those people to get them to your jokes. You just can't come out and just like go hard. Palestine and Israel, blah, blah, blah. Like people are like, I'm at a wedding. What the fuck is going on? Right?
Not over them, through them.
Yeah. So it didn't always go well, but it gave me bits and pieces and it grew. And then, so I went with one of my friends to Montreal. He was on the Montreal Comedy Festival and it's a horrible festival. I hate the people that run it. I hope they all die in hell. No.
You know, they're going to see this.
Yeah, right. So anyways, they went broke. So that's why I said that. Anyways, so I went to this, I love them for this. Without Montreal, I don't have a career. But for whatever reason, innocence, a little bit of drive, and being naive got me as far as I've gotten. Right? I'm just like, okay, do it. Like, whereas some people go, I'm not going to Montreal for free. I'm not flying myself out there and sleeping on different hotel floors every night because my friends have a room, right? So I did that. I was young. I was 22 years old, 23 years old. And I was at a show with my friend and somebody didn't show up. And he said, hey, my buddy Ian's funny. And I went on stage and I got a set at the Montreal Comedy Festival and was seen by some people. And one of those people was a guy named Lucian Hold, which was one of the owners of the comic strip in New York City. And he said to me, if you're ever in New York, I'd like to put you on stage. I took that as I should move to New York.
Exactly.
Right? So I did. 6 months later, I went back to Montreal. I had a headlining spot where I got paid $700 Canadian. I turned that into $500 American, bought a train ticket and went to New York. And as the train pulled into New York, I was like, I don't have any place to live. What am I going to do? Right? I'm going to die here. And weirdly enough, as I got off the train, there was a piece of paper on the floor that just said youth hostel, $14 a day. And I picked that up and I went over to a payphone and called up, hey, can I stay there? And they said, yeah, if you got a passport, you can stay here. And I was sure. So I stayed there. And then I started calling Lucian. He put me on some spots. He just kept giving me more spots. I was there for a month and a half. I'd gotten to a certain point where Lucian trusted me with things. And one day he came to me and he said, hey, there's going to be an audition tonight for Conan O'Brien to do stand-up on Conan O'Brien. You're not going to be on it, but you're going to be just before it. And here's what's going to happen. If they show up on time, they will see you, right? But if they don't show up on time, you're going to fill until they get there. I'm like, okay. Well, they showed up on time. I did my 5 minutes. And afterwards, they asked to speak to me. And they said, we'd like to put you on the Conan O'Brien show. And I said, I am completely illegal. and they
you
said,
pay my Venmo?
Yeah, well, I wish there was Venmo that. They said, we'll help you get your work papers. So they got me my work papers, and
wow.
I did Conan, and I started doing more sets, started doing like road work, and so without being dumb, naive, and just having enough drive from my father and my mother, just saying, you put in the work. Nothing is free. Ass, gas, or grass. Nobody rides for free. You got to put in the work, right? So you got to put in the work. So when the door does open, you're talented enough to get. You're prepared to get through. And I appreciate them, and I appreciate my friends that help me just drive their cars and do 2 minutes on their shows and bomb my ass off, and the people that trusted me to go on at their wedding and just get a couple laughs. And even Montreal, even those people just having a festival that I could go to and trusting me to get on stage and fill time until the next guy got there. And by the way, I think the next guy that arrived was Joe Rogan. I think that's who I was. That's awesome. That was back in the day. I remember I would sit around. I remember I was looking at Joe Rogan. I thought he was so funny because he was talking about the Olympics, and there was a 15-year-old girl that was in the Olympics and won a gold medal. And he was talking about how everybody go back to school and they'd say, how was your summer? And she would just be, well, I won a gold medal.
And What you get?
How about you?
Everybody show and tell show. Yeah. And Dave Attell was there, and Ray Romano, and all these guys. It was just all these monster comedians. And then I got to move to New York, and have to follow those guys and learn. And it was great. So, and it's amazing. That was my big shot, right? So, at that point, I was doing a little bit of crowd work. I wasn't doing a ton of crowd work because you were basically doing 5 to 10 minutes, and I called them prison sets, where New York comics were buff at the top, and like you just like joke, right? And the LA comics were long, winding, comedians, because they had tons of time. They do hours, whereas New York, there was so many comics. We got 5, 10, 20 minutes at the most, right? So that was how that. So I just did but I always had a kind of a conversational way, and it just kind of grew and grew into this beast where I was, I wasn't known for it, but that's what I did. And I'd get fired all the time. Club owners, we don't trust crowd work. And when I was opening, I'd get fired because people didn't want to, follow that. I don't want to follow. I remember, I opened for John Witherspoon, and he's like, nope, not following that, and fired me. And I was like, they paid me, so I was fine when they paid me, and it was sad because I was hoping to talk to him for the weekend, but because I thought he was so good, but I also took it as a badge of honor. I'm like, yes, he doesn't want to follow it. The famous guy doesn't want to follow the dot. so it was.
That's when you turn in the corner,
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
So,
that Montreal festival that you talk about, I mean, for the longest time, especially when I lived up in New York City, I mean, that was huge.
Yeah, it was huge
for a very long time. I mean, there was so. I mean, the end all and be all of names that came out of there were incredible.
I think it was the internet before the internet. So they would have people go around finding all these acts, and then that's where you'd see them, was in Montreal. So the LA, the New York people would see these guys from Vancouver, from Toronto, from LA, from Louisiana, because they'd gone out and done the pre-work for and finding these comics. But I think, what's great about the internet is the gatekeepers are gone. That's the problem. I was lucky enough to get through the gatekeepers, but there's a lot of comics that get denied by the gatekeepers because whatever, they don't like their attitude. They don't like this, whatever. But funny is funny.
Right.
And the internet, all you see is whether they're funny or not funny, right? So the gatekeepers are gone, and you can become a massive talent off of just being on the internet. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you're just one click away from moving on to the next.
Yeah.
Well, my son, I was down in Florida, and my son, one night I was there, we were doing shows, we were doing podcasts. It was right in the beginning. And so that's about 4 years ago, 3 years, whatever. So he says, I'm going to show you some comedians, Mom. I'm like, okay. So he started putting on some people, and then he put you on. And then I said, go back and go back and go back. And it was funny. Like, oh my God.
I introduced you as my lesbian lover. Yeah. I was like, I want you to be my lesbian lover. And I threw you
This is my lezo.
Whenever I was like sad about something, I'd go online and I'd bring you up and listen to one of your acts. I'm like, I didn't want him on the show. I want him on the show. It's like, it's been this OG of the podcast business is just, you were number one. There's 4 people and you were number one. And this is like, this is a dream.
You know who the other one is? Snoop Dogg.
Snoop, yeah.
I think you get along with him. I think you get along with him great.
Snoop, I would have a great time with Snoop, and he could bring Martha, and we could cook together. We could do whatever together. But you were number one on my list, and I'm like, But that night that he put you on was hysterical, absolutely.
That makes me happy to hear that you say, like, if I need a break from the world, I can go watch one of your videos and have fun. I think when comics have through lines, my through line is I'm just fun. I'm just like, there's no other ulterior motive to my show. I'm not there I'm not a political comic. I'm not a prop comic. I'm just there to see where we go. I'm going to take you and I'm going to let your brain rest. Mine's going to have a workout. Yours is going to rest, right? So, yeah. It's funny. I wake up a lot at the end of my shows and say, well, how did I get from there to there? Like, I just let it do it, right? So there's I don't know how it goes. I don't know how it works.
The brain starts rolling and that's it,
Yeah.
But you're at a comfort level. You're at a confidence and comfort level where, just like the same for a musician, where you're a guitarist and you get up on stage and you could let it rip. comfortably and confidently, and you're at that level. And that's when it becomes fun, really fun.
It is fun. It's been quite the journey, but it is a lot of fun. It is fun. Yeah. So that's the big thing.
Fucking better be. Otherwise there's no reason to quit porn.
Well, some guys don't have fun, right? Some guys, you get caught up in the train of money. So,
Yeah, that's
they bite off more than they could chew, or they set their expectations a little too high. Comedy, I think there's really no way out, but you're going to get a beat down. It's like a gang initiation, just drawn out a little bit longer. Not as maybe as brutal.
You gotta bomb.
You have to bomb. You have to take it on the chin.
And it's so crazy that a whole room of people can decide together that they don't like you.
That's true.
And the torches come out, and you're like,
oh my God,
here we go.
All of you? Every single one of you?
When's the next guy coming on? This guy's got to stop already,
I do think you get to a point, even when you're bombing, you're doing well. Like you can hit people. You're able to relate to people, to connect with people no matter what. So you may not have the full support, but you're still doing well. Like I consider like an average show, like, like you're just like, So that's a bomb now. Whereas before you would take an average show as a big win. So
yes.
I feel sorry when these guys come out, they open the show and they're really not that good and they're saying things and people are just sitting there and they're waiting for a reaction and there's no reaction. And you can see the look on their face. You can see the look. It is disappointing because people's faces tell the whole everything, and also, I feel so bad for them.
I like when people do a thing where they move the microphone away, waiting for the applause. Like they've planned where the applause is. You really don't know where the reaction's going to be. So sometimes it's on the setup.
My son has a game for you. Do you want to play a game?
Oh, we got a game? Sure.
Yes, we're going to play a game.
Why not?
Sure.
I figured if there's anybody I could get away with this with, it's you. This is going to be 3 questions. Yes or no. Got to answer them within 5 seconds. If you win, Ian.
Yeah.
You win a T-shirt, and the T-shirt says, "I drink at my favorite watering hole, but I eat at my favorite glory hole."
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
No, but you want that. I know you want that.
I kind of do.
Question number 1, Ian. You got 5 seconds, baby. Have you ever caught your ball sack in your zipper, and instead of screaming, you just yodeled?
No.
Okay. Question number 2. Do you ever moan while eating a banana?
Oh, yes.
I figured that. Question number 3. Have you ever accidentally sent your mom a dick pic?
No, but I hear stories about people sending dick pics to the wrong people, like family members.
Yes.
One of my friends,
cousins.
Yeah, I'm sure I when me and my wife first met, I was a little bit fucking on the wild side, still running around a little free, and she caught me doing some stupid stuff. And God bless her for putting up with me. But my friend was telling me about how his dad was having a problem with his phone, so his son was taking a look at it, trying to fix it for him, and he's just like, it's not only do you get to see your dad's dick, but you get to find out he's hung as well. So. And all I said to him was like, you don't know if that was your dad's.
That's very true.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
All I got to say, Ian, is thank God we didn't have this shit when we were in high school.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us would be free. We would be in prison.
I know you.
You'd be my cellmate.
Just listen to the lyrics from ABBA's songs. You're like, does your mother know? I'm just like, oh my God. Even ABBA were freaks.
Oh my God. You ever do a show in front of your family?
Yeah, I've had them out. Yeah, I do. I go home to my hometown and do fundraisers every once in a while. So yeah, I've had them out.
Do you think
it's kind of cool, or you just you let loose?
I let loose. I motherfuck everybody. So yeah.
Why should he give them a break? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I went through it once and I didn't know how to handle it. I had to do a show in front of my in-laws and then my wife's aunt and uncle, who I never met before. And I was doing a routine about taking her vibrator shopping for the first time. And I was just like, oh. I talked to my in-laws and I was like, do you think they're going to be cool? Oh, yeah. Nah,
they weren't.
Yeah,
Let's just say we haven't.
There was a look on their face that I'll never forget. Without a doubt.
We thought Susan was a saint.
And married one too.
She picked out something that said NASA on the side of it. Oh,
that's funny. We thought she was a nun and that was a priest. It turns out they're not. I would say the people that are offended are probably have more skeletons in their closet than anybody.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah.
I call them the holier than thou people.
Yeah. Like they want to let loose, but they don't know how, They just want to cross over that threshold.
How they let loose.
They let loose. But if you do a joke about something, they're offended because they've actually done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And videotaped it.
Yeah. One of my jokes that gets people all fired up is when I was talking to the kid and I asked him if he was a virgin. And online, and I asked him if he was a virgin. He said yes, and I said, "Stay as innocent as long as possible." But remember this: the first time you go down on a girl, it's got a little bit of a kick. Nobody warns you about, right? And that video gets people fired up like you wouldn't believe.
I've seen you do that,
but I get so much hate. Like, how dare you? How dare you? You're a pedophile. I'm like, I wasn't trying to fuck him. You fucking weirdos. I wasn't trying to.
If I wanted to do that, I would have flown to an island.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy.
We know how you weirdos do it. It's not by joking with them.
I know, right?
Oh, God.
You go old school, ice cream and candy.
Yeah, weirdos. There's a reason fans were invented.
So
it wasn't to move furniture.
Are you on a sabbatical right now, or
I start back up this week. I go to Salt Lake City on Friday and Saturday.
Lots of Mormon jokes.
There will be some Mormon jokes.
Oh yeah,
eat them up. The bicycle rack will be packed. Yeah, it's actually a really fun town. I'm looking forward to it. So we got 4 shows there, and then we've got Orlando in the middle of the month somewhere, and then Denver at the end of the month. So it's quite a busy month.
Where in Orlando?
I'm doing the old Improv, which is now a Funny Bone. So,
do you know
this is when? No, I've done the House of Blues up there.
It's I don't know. I think it's
not on Disney property. It's probably just in Orlando.
It's just outside of the Disney property. What's that? What's that street called?
I know you're talking about the main thoroughfare.
Yeah, there's a mall there, and yeah, that's where we're at.
There's a mall in Florida? No.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of near Jesus.
We're kicking out all the Walgreens and CVS's.
I know. You're getting rid of everything. You're too busy having your marches for white people.
Yes. So what's the date, Ian?
I want to say it's not next week, but it's the week after. So I don't know when this comes out, but if you can figure that out.
No. When I get off here, I'll just go look it up.
So next weekend's the 17th, 18th. Not this weekend, but 17th, 18th, and then the weekend after the 17th, 18th.
Weekend after that. Okay. We got to shoot the next week. But yeah, I'll head up to Orlando, man. I'll give you a shout and we'll
please do.
Whack down some scotch.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Whack down. My God. It's a whack down. I love it.
Whack down some scotch.
Whack down some scotch. I love it. You guys are fantastic. I love what you do, and it's a funny little show. So thank you for having me on it.
I'm so thrilled. I really, I am very, very honored that you agreed to come on after I harassed you for like over a year.
Where did I see? Which venue did I see?
Up at the Palisades Mall.
Oh,
Levity Comedy
Club. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to because I did a bunch that week and a half, so I was trying to remember where it was. Yeah, that's a mall and a half with a comedy club. It's got a cemetery in the parking lot and a comedy club inside. It's just terrifying.
Yes. Oh my God! We're going to Bananas in a couple of weeks. I don't know who's playing. My friends asked me. I said, "Yeah, I'll go." Bananas. It's in East Rutherford.
Yes, I did that one that week as well. It's in a hotel.
Did you?
Like,
yeah.
Like,
so
okay.
they just asked me. I said, "Yeah, I'm always up for comedy clubs. You know that. Make sure you get us a front row seat.
Love it.
I'm not afraid. Not afraid of you guys.
She's not afraid. She likes to giggle. She'll give it to you as much as you give it to her. I love it.
So where's everybody going to find you, Ian?
Yeah, they can find me at ianbagg.com. Go up and sign up for my mailing list so you don't miss out on any shows. When you sign up for my mailing list, there are some perks to it. You get to watch a couple videos that you can't find anywhere else, and they are completely uncensored and can't be temperamental with YouTube or Facebook. They're just completely uncensored and raw. So nice. Go check those out and sign it up, and then we'll let you know when we're in town, and you'll be the first one to know when I book a show in your town. So,
all right,
awesome.
Well,
awesome.
I am so thrilled. Again, I am very thrilled to have you on. You're a really great person and a really, really excellent comedian. I love it. And you're going to go
suck it, hockey, but that's okay.
My mom and my wife would say no, that he isn't a great person. He's not even funny. My sister would say he's not the funny one, but you know how it is. You
do know how it is.
You know how it is. You got your tiny little sons with your giant daughters. You know exactly what it is.
That's funny. Well, we are funnyminds.com, and if you go on our website, there's two organizations that we're very happy to introduce you to, which you really know, and that's St. Jude's Children's Hospital and breast cancer. So if you want, there's a purple button there. People can make donations. They're two very, very wonderful organizations, and we love really trying to talk them up a bit. And we have merch. Doesn't everybody in the world have merch? Go on and get our Funny Minds merch and some other crazy things. And we're 420.
We're going to put out a special edition Ian Bagg t-shirt.
Yeah.
With the I drink at my favorite watering hole. I eat at my favorite glory hole.
No, you should do Giant Daughters. That's what your t-shirt is.
Giant Daughters.
That's a good one, too.
It's actually a great name for a band.
Yeah, it actually is. It totally is.
Ian, thank you so much for being on.
So much,
it was
guys.
a pleasure, and good luck to you. And we'll see you again. I know you'll see you before me, but I'll catch you on the back end when you come around again. Okay?
You're the sweetest. Thank you for harassing
Ian,
me.
I'm going to come up and see you in Orlando.
I look forward to it, buddy. Yeah, reach out.
I'll reach out to you beforehand.
Cool. Okay. Buddy. All right. Have a great day, my friend.
Your travels. Be well. Thank you so much, Ian.
Stay gold, pony boy. Giant Daughter.
You know it, baby.
Bye-bye.
Write down some scotch.
We're gonna whip it.